Virtual links or vLinks are virtual point-to-point connection between two instances of our network services, our virtual network services. They're very simply layer 3 overlays, and I know we hear the word overlays quite a bit in the market today, and overlays are typically associated with layer 2 connectivity. What we decided to do was to leverage the concept of the overlay for point-to-point connection at layer 3. vLinks or virtual links or vLinks enable us to connect any pair of network service instances in our architecture without having any dependency on the underlying physical infrastructure. And by using vLinks and connecting all of our network services together, you can actually create topologies of services and network topologies that are completely overlaid on top of the underlying physical infrastructure. vLinks and vTopologies are very useful in several use cases, and I want to share, I want to talk about two typical use cases that we see them adopted in, both on the service provider as well as on the enterprise side. When it comes to the service providers are looking at virtual topologies and virtual links in at least two different ways. One way is service providers typically serve a large number of customers or tenants from their point of view, and these tenants end up having very similar requirements between each other, to the point where they very often require the very same IP addressing blocks to be associated to each one of them. Now, this is a very significant challenge for service provider to deal with when they are consolidating those customers on a shared physical infrastructure. What we enable these service providers to do is the ability to create virtual topologies specifically dedicated to each one of their tenants, so that they can have duplicated IP addressing across multiple tenants, because the meaning of each one of these IP addressing blocks is going to be purely local to each one of the virtual topologies. And this is one of the use cases of the vTopologies with service providers. When you think about vLinks become very popular when we have conversations with service providers that want to establish connectivity between different areas of their product offerings, which typically corresponds to different areas of their infrastructure. And the typical example here is a hosting service provider that decides to start a product offering on the cloud side, and it needs to have a seamless way of connecting the cloud product and the managed hosting product for customers that choose to buy both, and obviously don't want to have the pain of dealing with the two different environments in different ways. And vLinks are a way to clearly and easily establish that connectivity without having to touch the physical infrastructure underneath.